Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, pushing this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. I say shalom to you Akim out there, and this is a sit-down lesson, a quick sit-down lesson for In the News on October 30th, 2022, on a Sunday afternoon at 4:32 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this is a news article from MSN.com, from ABC News, and the highlight of this news article, and it reads, and it was published by English, if I pronounce that name right, English Grid, Leslie Robinson, and Megahan Bally 3 hours ago. And the highlight of this news article, when you read for In the News, as a sit-down lesson, and it reads, U.S. Air Force to deploy nuclear capability B-52 bombers to Australia as tensions with China grow. Right, and that comes into mind. I want to add a note on that as well too. I believe a few days ago, it was a news article caught my attention. I had read the highlight of it, but I haven't read it all the way of the news article. And it was saying that even though the United States have tensions with North Korea, Iran, and Russia, but the United States still look at China as their top enemy. Slovakia. And it says a B-52 bomber can deliver a long-range strike on both nuclear and conventional weapons. And it says the United States is preparing to deploy up to 6 nuclear capable of B-52 bombers to northern Australia. To proactive move, experts say it's aimed to squarely at China, because you still got tensions between Beijing and the United States, along with China versus the United States, over the United States being allies with, Taiwan over the islands as well too. And another news article, I believe it's from the Washington Post, it was published a couple of hours ago, and it goes into, the rumors of wars. It might have been a rumor, but the news article that I read, it was saying that Taiwan is prepared for China to invade their island, So that might have been a rumor of war, So I just want to add that note to it. But I'm going to read this again for edification's sake. It says the United States is preparing to deploy up to 6 nuclear-capable B-52 bombers to northern Australia. A proactive move, experts say, is aimed to squarely at China. An investigation by Four Corners can reveal Washington is planning to build dedicated facilities for the giant aircraft at a Tyndall Air Base south of Darwin. The U.S. has drawn up detailed plans for what it calls a squadron operations facility for the use used during the Northern Territory dry season, and at joining maintenance central and parking areas for 6 B-52s. Becco Wessler from the Central for New American Security says putting the B-52 in North Australia is a warning to China. As fear grows, Beijing is preparing for an assault on Taiwan. And it says having bombers that could range the and potentially attack mainland China could be very important. And signing a signal to China to any of its actions over Taiwan could also further, she says, the bombers are part of a much larger upgrade of this fence access across northern Australia, including a major expansion on the Pink Gap intelligence base, which will play a vital role in any conflict with Beijing. Salaki, excuse me. And it says the B-52 have been backbone of the United States Air Force for more than 60 years with the capability to deliver a long-range strike of both nuclear and conventional weapons. The U.S. documents says the facilities will be used for deploying a B-52 squadrons. It says the ability to deploy U.S. Air Force bombers to Australia sends a strong message to adversaries about our ability to project lethal air power. The U.S. Air Force told Four Corners. It says asks when the B-52 would begin their deployment at Tyndall. Australian Department of Defense declines to comment. It says the tip of the spear. Some worry having the B-52s rotating through the Tyndall each year locks Australia into joining the U.S. in any conflict against China. It's greatly expands of Australia's commitment to the United States war plan with China, says Richard Tender, a senior research associate at the National Institute, a long-time and anti-nuclear activist. It's a sign to the Chinese that we are willing to be the tip of the spear. Mr. Tainter sees the planning deployment of the bombers as more significant than rotations of the U.S. Marines through Darwin each year. It is very hard to think of more open commitment we could make a more signal to the Chinese that we are going along with American planning for a war with China, Mr. Tender says. Miss Wasser says the growing importance of Northern Australia to the U.S. makes Darwin intends their target in any war with China. Her work includes running war games exercises to examine how a potential conflict might unfold. She says the war game scenarios where Australia either joins the fight or allow Washington to use bases in the top end it did very much plays in bull's eye on Australia. It says ultimately these attacks were not successful because a long range requirement because China has already expanded the most capable long range missiles early in the game. But who's to say that in the future China might have more advanced missiles capable that would better suit to potentially attacking Australia. This is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 7. 144 called La Yabashanasha. Mark 13 and 7. And we in when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for such things must need be, but the end is not yet. Right, because the men of the Lord, the true servants, the true prophets of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, we know these things before it comes, according to the Holy Scriptures and according to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, and the water Yahweh Bashim Al Shai for waking us up to learn this truth and continue to learn these things through the Holy Scriptures. That's why we're not terrified for the things that's about to come to pass. We see it increasing, with the rumors of wars increasing on an everyday basis, because the end is not yet, because more things are about to take place on the planet Earth, and more prophecies, 2 or 3 more prophecies are coming up very soon, slowly but surely. We starting to see take effect and increasing on the planet Earth. And this is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows, right? Because we are in the beginning stages of sorrows. These things are definitely going to increase. Like I mentioned before, with the rumors of wars increasing now more than ever, with the hostilities and tensions between the nations and different kingdoms as well too. With the Russia-Ukraine situation, the Israel-Palestine situation, and you got the North Korea versus South Korea. There was tensions. Then you got the United States that's allies with South Korea, and Japan versus North Korea. So these things definitely are increasing, and the tensions over there in Yemen versus the Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia and Yemen forces is clicking up against the Iranian Houthi-backed rebels. Then you got the clashes, cross-border clashes between the Israeli aggression, which is the IDF, Israeli Defense Force, using airstrikes over there, those facility bases over there in Syria. I believe the northern part or southern part of Syria, which is an Iranian-backed facility station over there. So you got tensions all over the place. So these things is going to continue to increase and build up with the nations are rising up against one another, and the hostility increasing now so more than ever. And I'm going to read it again for edification's sake. This is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 9. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows, right? You're going to have the increase of famines, which we're seeing. You're going to have the increase of earthquakes in diverse places. I believe over there in the Philippines, they had like 30 to 40 people had died or something like that. It was a heavy floodings and landslides. And then recently you had earthquakes in California. It was like a 5.1 over the coast of San Francisco. So, we seeing these things, etc. We seeing the earthquakes. We seeing the famines. We seeing these things taking place on the planet Earth. We seeing the nations rising up against nations and kingdom against kingdoms as well too. So these things are definitely, continue to stir up on an everyday basis, especially when we see these things take shape in the news on an everyday basis. So with that, I hope this sit-down lesson was edifying for In the News, October 30th, 2022, on this Sunday afternoon, through the spirit, providence, and mercy of the Yahweh Shai. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakar double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I'm going to say shalom and a ball.